I want to move on to the genre, talk about genre, because we're at a comic book convention. Superhero movies and television and science fiction and fantasy and all that sort of thing. And how much are they influenced by the music of religion or the rhythm of religion? I can think of a couple of examples off the top of my head. Somebody before also told me, who was it, Lisa, was it you? That every time a certain kind of character came on, there'd be a choir. And
every single time you see a Muslim character appear, there's the in the background, every single time. Even if it's like an Arabic character who isn't Muslim, doesn't matter.
Exactly. It's even tougher for Jews because it's always Hava. Right? There are other songs in Judaism.
Are there?
And also, in really monumental scenes, they're using the choirs in a more Gregorian chant type of style, and you see that in all kinds of films like Avengers: Age of Ultron. You'll see that the usage of these sort of chants or things that are like Gregorian chants to give you that sense.
So can we give some examples of where we think religious type music is successful in enhancing a movie or a television show or whatever, and some examples where we feel like it's a little too stereotypical, we should move away from that. So I'll give you a couple examples off the top of my head. I remember in Superman Returns, I think it's 2006 Bryan Singer movie, I was thrilled to see the John Williams score come back, but the score was adding a big thick choir every time Superman was having a Christ moment. And I thought that was a little bit on the nose. So that's an example. But then you compare it to let's say, Return of the Jedi, where the Emperor's on screen, you hear this, oh, I'm not worked out, forgive me, in the background, and that just built the mystery and the aura of this superhuman villain. So 2 examples there. I turn it over to you folks.
Well, most of those examples are from the opera tradition, okay? So, I mean, Star Wars is very much a space opera, okay? So operas have, different motifs for different people, and that's kind of the brilliance of John Williams. So that's intrinsic of what is supposed to be there. I think in television, I promise you, there are 450 narrative series being done this next year. And about 200 of those, when they get to the religious moment, they will probably use Amazing Grace. And I've done
That's
like
the Christian Havanagi.
That's the Christian. I've done it a bunch of times, and I still collect ASCAP on it every time. Thank you very much. But that's probably a song that's probably overused, but it is an amazing piece because it was written by a guy named John Newton, who was a slave trader. Okay, he was a slave trader. He worked on slave ships. He had an encounter with Christ, and it literally transformed his life. He realized, and saved a wretch like me is one of the lines, and that it transformed his life. And then he wrote that song, and that song is as a result of what we're seeing in 200 episodes of television.
Wow.